Colleagues, next part, football philosophy of the Israel national team, part 2, practical. Today, I want to show you almost all secrets what we did in exercises, and I hope I can convince you to do it also in your club. The first page is, this is an original document, how I prepare training session, but the form beside, I think it's not so important for you. I have in the top exactly which players are here, how many players I have, how many defenders, midfielders, strikers, and then I structure the training session in this way, that the first part is a warming up with always, I speak with my fitness coach, game-related exercises, game-related movements, game-related small-sided games. The second is, after this warming up, I go in I call it orientation phase. And in the orientation phase, often I use game-related passing exercises and rondos. I will speak about this. And then I'm coming to the main part. In the main part, I take a content of offense, of defense, of transition, or we work also on set pieces, but normally the main part here, we work for the tactical game. And of course, at the end of training, a short cooling down done by the fitness coaches. So if we go to the first part, Erdan has spoken yesterday. You can see here also some exercises out of this. I always give him enough time to prepare the players because they have many games in the clubs. Often the situation is under stress. They need to be prepared for our training. And in this way, I give him time. I give him in front the content of the orientation phase and the main part, and then he selects the exercises, what is necessary for preparation. So if you allow, I go here a little bit faster forward because they have spoken yesterday about these exercises. Also, fun must be inside, and normally the players enjoy it. You see now it's coming a little bit more to passing exercise, short movements, similar to football movements, also movements from the side here to make movements to stop and to go forward. You see the fitness coach beside looking on quality, and also here you see a funny game at the end of warming up, holding the ball up, and they like to do it. And you see here, there is a good motivation, a good atmosphere for training, and they are laughing, and they are now in a good preparation for going forward in the training session. Coming to a very, very important thing. Please don't do this to have two players standing and then you say, pass the ball. Without instructions, passing the ball. Here is a player, distance 20 meters, and you pass the ball. It's not enough. These instructions are not enough. The quality is not enough. I will show you why. And it's the same in youth training till the adult training. If you have here, for example, a graph out of the game philosophy, you can see, if you see the blue players, they play against 2 or almost 3 strikers. And the first goal is always to break the line. Yeah. This is a diagonal with a diagonal pass, a ball between. Then the second option is to break the second line and, of course, the last line. And here you see a deep pass to the striker, and the striker gives the ball back, and then you can play a splitting pass, or you can also switch the play. And in my preparation, I always take this situation from the game, and then I create a passing exercise. The first one here, you can see, they are standing in a triangle. They play the ball in the triangle, and then they play the ball deep, and he plays the ball back, similar to the graph before. A second example is, he plays a horizontal, often a little bit diagonal pass, and out of this diagonal pass, he plays deep, same as I said before or showed before out of the playing philosophy, to the striker. The striker gives the ball back, and then you play a deep pass or also a diagonal pass. And I want to show you a third one. Here, the same deep back deep, but it's in a combination with an overlapping. You see the player runs in the back. And these exercises you can see here. They are in the orientation phase, when you work, for example, in offense, necessary. You prepare here quality of passing. The coaching, we worked on 2 fields, 10 players, and here the players are moving, not standing a long time. The pass quality to coach, the receiving to coach. You see also now they're overlapping, always playing deep, giving back, playing deep. Here you can see Dasa overlapping in this situation. And the coaching is always quality, quality, quality. Yeah? So passing exercises, there's a great and big difference. If you do it as I showed here on the tactical board, 20 meters you are standing and moving the ball, or you sit down, create for your philosophy a passing exercise, and this passing exercise helps you in your offensive game. There is a great difference, but also a lot of work to prepare this and to bring this on the pitch. Not only in offense, you can do this, also in defense. If you have a look on this, I gave 2 dummies. The distance is 8 meters. And the players, 3 players, pass the ball with 1 touch around this dummy. Good, short passes. And then the coach is giving a signal, a whistle. And in this whistle, immediately, and you remember, for example, yesterday when I said our principle is playing 2 against 1 in defense, they have to come in a 2 against 1 situation. So it sounds perhaps a little bit complicated, but if you see it, it's very simple. So you see the player here passing, good touches, good tempo, good quality, and with a whistle, immediately 2 players have to create a 2 against 1 situation out of this passing exercise. So I combine tactical work with technical work. It's not only passing without they must react and immediately make a transition from, you can say, possession to defense, and here to create a 2 against 1 situation. What is a principle in our game philosophy? Again, passing and immediately coming here and building, you can say, a sandwich, 2 against 1 situation. Coming to the next, offense, or you say build up. Yesterday, we spoke with Jordi Greif and discussed, but his father, Johann, he said an enormous sentence in a conference. If you touch the ball once, you are playing very well. If you touch it 3 times or more, I would say, you are playing very badly. How often are your players touching the balls? So we must take care that we not misunderstand, to dribble where it is possible, to go alone where it is necessary, to make this individual action where I can have a numerical advantage, a free player, of course. But if you have the ball and you can play the ball and you touch it 3-4 times and then you play, it's too slow. And I think it's a great sentence if you understand right. In my opinion, all the game starts with build-up. So I explained my players. We want, if we play against Slovakia, if we play against Czech, if we play against Scotland, I'm not interested. We want to control the game. Our intention is to keep the ball because we have technical, wonderful players. I said to them, our goal is to move the opponent, either to create space or to expose a tactical weakness of the opponent. And the third one is, it's an advantage. Possession is advantage. Not only to have the ball, it's also to defend. Because if we have the ball, the opponent cannot score. So we circulate the ball and defend, for example, the result. We are leading 1-0. We have a positive situation in the game. We are a little bit tired. We have to rest. So it's an advantage. But do not misunderstand. If we have the possibility, if we can play fast, and I showed the goal against Slovakia from Manor, we play as deep as possible and as vertical as possible. This is clear in our philosophy. And in the Spanish Association, they developed the rondos. And I think many academies here are doing, understanding, but we must do it more. The rondo is a part of successfully methodology for our possession game. So with other words, with good rondos, you develop your quality of possession game, your quality in offense. This helps you in small space, in small areas, to develop your game. But it's not enough to go to the internet and to say, we play 4 against 4. We play 3 against 3. We play 7 against 5. This also my wife can do. Because she's not educated, but she's a teacher and she knows how to organize 7 against 5. Give the ball and they play. It's not enough. Here, we must work out what we take out of the game of the 11 against 11, and we train in a small area better than we play 11 against 11. This you must understand. I give you an example. You can see here that football consists out of rondos, out of possession games. If it is 4 against 2, if it is 5 against 2, 6 against 2, if it is 3 against 1, football is always in the real game part. So you do not believe? I have a picture here. This is 4 against 2. You have the goalkeeper, you have a right and a left center back, you have a midfielder, and you have 2 strikers. It's 4 against 2. But you must know 4 against 2, it's another 4 against 2 if you say, play here, or you bring it to the realistic situation, to the game-related situation, goalkeeper, center-back, midfielder. And these are the 2 strikers. This thinking must be behind your choice of a rondo. I give you an example by the national team. It was a kind of training with not all players, but you can see it very well. The rondo is 4 versus 4 plus 3 jokers. In offense, I wanted to train to create space, to open passing lines, also to break passing lines. Third man, the movement of the third man, you know exactly. The player with the ball is the first man. The player who gets the ball is the second. And the movement of the third, fourth, fifth player is important. So the third player that I have an option to continue the game is crucial in football. And in defense, also clear my content, fast transition, closing passing lines, coverage, tackle 1 against 1, 2 against 1 situations, closing space. Here you can see how they did. You see the 4 players inside. We used on one side the goalkeeper to play here, very, very similar to the game. And you see now the transition also from offense to defense, from defense to offense, the players had to do. Always in an area where the players play. Goalkeeper, center back, or fullback, winger, striker, you can use. But you see here, especially also in defense, to close space, to close passing lines, and to make this transition very fast. In offense, of course, you coach the passing lines, to open space, and the quality also of receiving the ball. A second exercise I want to show is also the 7-7 plus 3. 7-7, you must know, in a system where you play, for example, with 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 3 strikers. You have number 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the defenders. The jokers are 1 midfielder and number 7 and number 11, the wingers. And you have here number 8, number 10, you see, and also the striker number 9. So if the ball changes, 1 midfielder and the winger stay, and the other team is coming again in a 4-3-3 formation. You have inside the position game, the wing play, the line play, the midfield play, the building, the whole playing system. You have inside the transition, closing space and passing lines, coverage, tackling, principles of zonal defending. I did it with the national team, of course, in my system, with 3 defenders, with 2 wingers, with midfielders and strikers. And you can see it here. I did it in the mid zone. I have 3 jokers in the middle, and the yellow team is playing with 3 defenders. You see in the front, Daza on the wing, right, and on the left wing, Tane, Borsan Menachem. You have the 3 midfielders inside and our 2 strikers. And we play in the corridor where we build up in zone 2, and also when the ball is coming to the blue team, they go immediately in their positioning also in a 3-4-3 system, and they move the ball. So you have to adapt to your tactical philosophy the exercise, but the exercise is great. Yeah? And this connection between taking an exercise and bringing it to the philosophy is a good way, but the better way is out of your philosophy, you create the exercise. You create the rondo. You work out a rondo specific for your playing philosophy. This is a great work of a coach. Excellent exercise also is almost the same, but here normally you can say you play 10 against 10. 4 goals, you have a clear zone in midfield, and you see now, for example, the 3 defenders red, the winger, and the midfielders are in both sides jokers. So the black ones play with the red, the blue play with the green jokers. And if the ball is switching, the jokers have to do, here I said, 1 touch free game on 2 goals. So after a combination of 2 jokers with 1 touch. So I explained the red have the ball. The blue are getting the ball. They must have a pass to a green joker, and he must give a pass with one touch to another green joker, then the game is open on the two goals where they can score. The same for the other team. So always getting the ball means I can play on the goal only if two midfielders play one touch. So the midfielders must move excellent, always be in position, always be an option to get the ball. Otherwise, the game is not open, the game is not free, and you cannot score. Try it in your club. Really good exercise. Coming to the possession play, so if you can say you prepared very well your possession play with rondos and good passing exercises, game-related exercises, you are well prepared. And if you see here, this is our positioning in offense. Let me explain here on the tactical board. When we build up the game, I want always to have 5 positions. We have 1, 2, 3. These are our 3 defenders. 1 striker is going as deep as possible, and the wingers are coming high. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions. And then we have the possibility to play here in midfield on 2 lines. You see? Our wingers are using the whole width of the pitch, and these players often, the second striker, for example, Aaron is coming here, or Mano is coming here, or Munas is coming here, or Sean Weissman is coming here. But one player must have here producing deepness for our team. So the positioning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here, very difficult for the opponent to play on 2 lines. And this positioning, especially in zone 2 and zone 3, you can see here in this graph. And also, if you go a little bit forward, I must go back, forward, you see it now here in zone 3. If you say number 4, TB, 3 near Biton, 5 Elamit, you have very high San Menachem, number 7. You have on the other side Eli Daza, very high. For example, in this situation, Eran, number 9, 11 and 10, Manor and John Weissman. And you have Bibras or Golassa or who is playing as number 6 and number 8. So this is a principle how we create this position. You see here the Belgium national team. Exactly in the game they are doing. You cannot see the center back in the middle, but it's not on the picture, but you see exactly Lukaku in the center. You see on the side, very high, the wingers. You see 2 players between lines, last line and midfield line, and the 2 midfielders. And I think the second one a little bit higher would be better, but this is out of a realistic game situation. And out of this, we prepare how to do it. For example, a very normal and simple exercise in a prepared pitch. We do it with bands in exactly this formation, and the coach is working all the exercise to correct, to interrupt, and to explain the players what you want in this positioning. But positioning is the base for quality position game. Pass quality, of course, But if you do not have the option, you cannot play on this level. Out of this, the last is the consequent finishing. The consequent finishing in the box, and we spoke about this also in the morning. The individual training is here important. The group training is here important. And also this individual training, we always try to do in training exercises, can be also in the cooling down phase after the main part to do these exercises. But also Aaron spoke yesterday about this. I can go forward and show you how top teams are doing. Here an example from Bayern Munich. The positioning is the most important that you can play. Without this positioning, no chance. So it's a main part in my work to clarify exactly the positions in this philosophy. And here you can take it an overview. In zone 1, quality passing, no mistakes. Vertical and diagonal play in zone 2 and 3, and tempo dribbling inside, you remember yesterday, near Beetle. In the zone 2, vertical and diagonal flat passing, diagonal long passing, tempo dribbling in zone 3, ball off movement between lines and especially of our midfielders. In zone 3, overlapping, 1-2s, splitting passes, crosses, cutbacks, third player movements, movements from player from back positions, partnership between strikers, tempo dribbling, shots on target, consequent finishing, and at the end, goals. This is what we have in our playing philosophy. I cannot speak about all, but you have an overview. In build-up, one example. This is a graph out of the philosophy, and you have here the option to play short, to play to the winger, to play between, to play a diagonal long ball, to play outside and immediately vertical. And this, exactly this, we train in the training session. You see it here in Scotland. Exactly the situation of the game. You must not create a complex exercise. Take please only the game situation. And you see here, this is what they need in the game. A situation here, short, he plays back on the diagonal ball, and Daza has a possibility to go and to use the space. Or other side, near Beetle, gives a diagonal ball to left winger, and also here he has a possibility to go forward and to use space. So exactly what we need in the game, we train in the training process. Exercises, if you have here with 4 goals or 6 goals or 1 goal is behind the other goal, never don't do it. The best one is the game. And these situations, we trained a lot. Coming to the last, in defense, I must do a little bit faster. In defense, I started with the last line. You see here, we play with 3 center backs, with 1 winger, number 2 and number 6. And we started in a 5 versus 5 and go for a next step to an 8 versus 5. So I used here my strikers, Eran Shon and or Munas and Manor. And out of this, we created a very difficult situation for our last line and 2 holding midfielders. As you see on the graph, our last line, 5 players, plus 2 holding midfielders. We have here 7 players, plus the goalkeeper are 8. And they play against, you can say, the whole team of the opponent. And this is really difficult. But I prepared this. You see here, first exercise. The triangle, the coverage of the last 3. So I'm doing, please listen now exactly. I am doing at the beginning of the sequence. You can see it immediately. just going forward. Now the positioning of the defenders. He's coming up, there is a coverage. He's coming up, there is a coverage. No ball between. Look on the diagonal between the defenders. No ball between, no ball above. They have to train this. And then I open the game. Yes, you see, this is positioning training of defenders. And then now they are allowed to play on 2 goals. Now it's a free game. So I want to have exactly positioning, exactly defending, exactly coverage. Second, you see now they exercise last line plus 2 midfielders, and they play against almost the whole team of the opponent. So the movement of the holding midfielders before is important, not to lose here position, to stay and to close open space. Exactly what we are doing in the game. Of course, the organization, I said it yesterday, is important. And here you have the attacking points. For example, the dummies are standing here in the formation of Scotland. 3 defenders, you can say McTominay, Gallagher, and who played on the left. I think it was on the left wing Robertson, on the right O'Donnell. You have the midfielders and the striker Dykes, and behind in the half position McGinn and Christie played. So I give dummies exactly in this situation. And then in a very, you see it here, this is not running. We are not running now. The coach is explaining every position where we are attacking and what the player, the group, and the team has to do. So it's at the beginning of the training session, but it must be absolutely clear. And we move to all situations which can happen in the game. And you ask the players questions. Is it clear for you? Why are you not coming here? Can you understand how we can have numerical advantage, for example, on this position? And this I did very slow, but it must be clear. Otherwise, in a complex situation, they are not doing. Also, the pressing, a short overview for you. I cannot speak now about the topic of pressing, but it's always the most important. The nearest player, press the ball. Sprints and compactness of the team is necessary. No free player behind. We close passing options. And at the end, it's a dealing in 1 versus 1. You have nothing out of this if the pressing is good organized, but at the end, the 1 versus 1 is an alibi, often with strikers. Running there, but doing nothing. So this 1-1 is crucial for getting the ball. And if you get the ball, you have 2 options. I said it. In our philosophy, we say, but do not misunderstand, we play highway to the goal. As steep as possible, as fast as possible, as vertical as possible. But often, it's also not possible to play vertical. So you stay on ball, you go back to position play. And also this, only that you can see it. When you explain this, it must be slow at the beginning. Exactly the timing and the positioning must be clear for every player. And we did it here in this video on both sides, very slow. And then you go forward in the methodic to do it faster and again till match tempo. But if you only play and they do not know exactly what they have to do, you never get output of your work. So I hope you enjoyed it. I think it's also my work as a technical director to bring this content to you. You will get this presentation very open. Use it in your club. Of course, you have to adapt it to your level, but the structure of creating such training sessions is always the same. A good preparation for this, what you want to do in training. In the orientation phase of the training, focus on the main point from the main part of the training, in offense, defense, transition, or set pieces, and use for this excellent passing exercises, or, as I explained, rondos. And in the main part, this is the game. The game gives you the task. You create the exercise out of your analyzing, and then you explain in detail, in theory and in practice, what you want to have. And at the end, don't forget, a good cooling down is closing the training session. Toda rabba for your attention. And 2 minutes breaks. The next speaker is already here in the Ramat Gan Stadium. It will be Eli Gutmann. Toda rabba.